Hola, estudiantes de Español 2. This is Señora Ballinas, and I'm going to explain some strategies for tackling these tweets. All right, when you are doing readings, especially on the assessments, it's really important that you are reading multiple times. Your brain needs to kind of process and synthesize things, and it's easier to kind of skim first, and then once you've done that, dig a little deeper those second and third times through. So the strategies that you're going to use are reading the sentence through from start to finish. You can do this in your head or out loud, but letting your brain see the entire sentence. Next, you're going to skim. You're going to skim and you're going to find cognates and words you know, and then I want you to mark the text. So make sure you're either underlining or highlighting those words. Next, you're going to be looking for morphemes, right? So you're going to take some of those words and break them apart. We know that in Spanish, parts of words have meaning. So you're going to be looking at first parts of words, endings, base words, all of those things to see if you can dig a little bit deeper into the meaning of the sentence. Finally, you're going to be using all of those context clues, cognates, words you know, and morphemes to try to make some inferences. So based on what you know, can you make an educated guess about anything else in the sentence? In order to kind of see what these strategies look like, I'm taking the example from the study guide. So this one, strategy 1, I'm going to read through the whole thing out loud. Fui al súper y me olvidé de lo que iba a comprar. Entonces volví con helado. One of the first things that happens, especially with another language, is you see all of that and you get overwhelmed that you don't understand it and you start to shut down. So the next strategy helps you really emotionally kind of move past that. So you're going to breathe and you're going to go, nope, I actually recognize some of these words, and you're going to highlight those. So, for example, I'm going to skim again and I'm going to be like, I actually know what fui means. I know al. Okay, super kind of looks like a cognate, but I'm not quite sure yet, so I'm going to skip it for now, and I'm going to keep going on. I know e. I've seen this pronoun may, but again, I know that may can mean a lot of things, so I'm going to skip it for now. Then I see olvidé, so if I think back a couple of units, I know that there was a word that had olvid in it, so I'm going to put that on there. Then I look at de lo que iba. All right, I recognize a couple of these, but in that mix, it doesn't make sense to me right now, so I'm going to skip it this time through. And then I know I know pensar, and then I see entonces. All right, I know that's a transition word, but I'm not 100% sure, so I'm going to ignore it. Okay, volví. That one looks like a word I know. Oh, and I totally know from last year, con and helado. All right, so now I'm going to read it again. This time, though, I'm going to put the English in where I think it goes. So fui is I went to the. All right, so it's a good thing that I didn't underline super, because it's not saying like, oh, that's super. I can't go to the super, right? So I'm going to leave it and think about it later. And now this word olvidé, I'm going to use my morpheme strategies, and I'm actually going to divide it into two parts, okay? So olvid, if I think back a few chapters, I know olvidar is to forget, okay? So I look at the second half and I ask myself, well, who forgot? Olvidé is I forgot, right? So I know that's I forgot, and then something that I can't figure out yet. And then now I see down here, oh, to buy. So I'm purchasing something, or maybe I forgot to purchase something. Okay, I'm going to keep going. Transitional word, and then I'm going to take this verb and break it apart again. Okay, so volver is from chapter 2, so I know that's to return. I see volví, yep, so I returned, and I returned with ice cream. Okay, so now I have a little more to work with. So I'm going to, again, read it, but I'm going to put those pieces in the puzzle. I went to the blank, and I forgot something. To buy blank, I returned with ice cream. Okay, I'm going to go back to entonces. I actually think this means so or then. I'm not quite sure which one, so I'm going to leave that. Okay, so I went to I'm going to focus on the word super. I see ice cream. I'm thinking food, right? Then I think about this chapter, and I'm thinking the places in this chapter. And there was a vocab word, supermercado. Maybe super is a shortened way to say supermarket. I'm going to try it out and see if it makes sense. I went to the supermarket and I forgot. It totally makes sense in my head. I'm going to go for it. So this is supermarket. Awesome spelling on an iPad. So I went to the supermarket and I forgot blank to buy. I'm going to focus on this word. It means what? Now, I don't exactly know what it says in Spanish, but in English, this is how I would express it. I went to the supermarket and I forgot what I was going to buy. So maybe, maybe not, but I'm going to go with it because I haven't learned this yet. But I'm going to make an inference. I'm going to make an educated guess that it's on the lines of what I was saying. So I forgot what I was going to buy, returned with ice cream. Okay, now this one doesn't make sense. The so makes more sense. So I returned with ice cream. So I'm going to assume I went to the grocery store, I forgot what I was going to buy, so I returned with ice cream. I might be right, I might be wrong, but I'm going to at least get in the proficient category because I'm making inferences. I didn't just stop at, oh, I know these words, I'm going to list them. I use them to dig a little deeper with my reading. All right, we're going to recap strategies for reading these tweets. It's not optional. I have to read multiple times. First, I'm going to let my brain see the whole sentence. I'm going to read it from start to finish. Then I'm going to look at it and look for cognates and words I know. I'm going to help calm my anxiety and realize, yes, I do know some of these words. Then I'm going to look at those words and I'm going to use my morpheme strategies, break them apart and dig a little deeper and really get the meaning behind them. And then finally, I'm going to use context clues to make inferences. I'm going to use those cognates, words I know, and morphemes, and I'm going to try to make sense of the rest of the sentence. If I do that, I know that I'm going to dig a little bit deeper and I'm going to be able to understand more of those tweets instead of just a word or two.